Coming up on this episode, I talk about how we can't help learning and how this impacts your life on a day-to-day basis. Also, some methods on how to kind of nudge yourself in the right direction when it comes to your focus in life. So let's get into it. What's going on, beautiful people? This is the Perspective Chasers podcast, and I'm your host, John. On this episode, I want to talk about how we can't help learning and how this impacts your life. Now, I think it's something that's quite obvious, but really and truly it goes unnoticed. A lot of us seem to think that we spend our time learning in the beginning stages of our life. But, they've proved that your brain constantly develops all throughout its life. Every new experience is a new neural connection that allows for new understandings, new potential. No matter what time of your life that you're in, you're going to encounter things that teach you new things, whether you be young or old. But I suppose the deeper aspect of that is when you don't notice it, all of these different parts of life and all of these different experiences that you learn, they impact your decision, they impact the reality that you perceive. So if you're constantly learning bad lessons or being exposed to bad information, you're going to spiral down that road of negativity and the not nice road. When obviously here we try to aim for the positive and we try to get to a stage where that positive is natural, is second nature. And again, it's not about ignoring the bad in life or thinking that the bad in life doesn't happen, because it always will happen. Things are always going to be up and down. But it's about what you choose to focus on and what you choose to take from each situation. And this whole learning curve is something that happens all throughout life. So if you're sitting there with a fixed understanding, thinking that you know all that there is to know, even if you are classed as an expert in your given field, or you've been doing the same thing for don't know how many years, there's somebody new that could come in, or there's somebody with a new idea that could change how everything works. So always leaving room for that and not closing the door to it, that opens you up to seeing that a lot easier. Again, if you think that you know everything, you're never going to look for new information. So if you admit that, cool, I know a fair bit, I'm good at my job, or I'm good at whatever I do, whatever, blah, 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 blah. But you leave that room but there's still more to learn. And that's in everything in life. Our understanding on things change all the time. So to think that all we know now is all that we'll ever know, and that all we know now is correct, is ignorant. So open yourself up to the realization that you're going to constantly be learning new things. The things that you believe today, you might disbelieve tomorrow. All it takes is a certain piece of information, and that can change everything. So don't let ideologies or ideas in general get in your way of personal growth. At the end of the day, it's something that we can't help but do. From the moment you're born to the moment we take our last breath, it's something that we'll constantly do without even trying to do it. You can't help but learn from the things that you experience, from the things that you see, hear, touch, taste, whatever it is. Everything that you experience teaches you something. And then that plays onto the reality that plays out before you. This is forever going on. So if you hold on to the ideas, or you don't leave some room for change or interpretation down the line, you'll stagnate. And that's not good for anybody. just being conscious that you're constantly learning and that you can learn good lessons and bad lessons, that's going to be the key to it. Because if you're around the wrong influences, or you're shut away and just watching or wasting your time away, the lessons that you do learn and the things that you are teaching yourself, they're not going to be the positive side of things. Don't get me wrong, there are going to be exceptions. You could be shutting yourself away trying to solve the mysteries of the universe. And hats off to you, we all await your answers. But let's be honest, that's not most of us. I know at times in my life when I've shut myself away and just wasted time and let myself fade, there's some things that I learned in those times, and they was what and who I didn't want to be. They weren't necessarily nice lessons, but it was something that I had to learn. Sitting in those times where you're literally just wasting away, sitting in your own filth, or time's gone by and you don't even know what day it is anymore. Those times teach us those tough lessons. They teach us the what-nots, the what not to do's, the what not to feel, the blah, 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 blah. Those bad situations, they're needed. But it's down to you and how quickly you can learn as to how long you sit in that bad situation. The faster that you can learn, the less time you're likely to spend in it. Because you'll learn the lesson that you need to learn from that very quickly. And then you'll get out. Because once you've learned everything that you need to learn, do you really need to stay in that situation? No, it's time for you to move on and grow beyond that. And that's going to play on to every aspect of life. Work, relationships, personal development, whatever it is. There's going to be all of these aspects where you're learning from multiple aspects constantly. Again, it's something we can't help but do. Somebody changes their behavior towards you and you learn something new about them. You take a different route to work because the road's closed and you've learned some new directions or a new route, or whatever it is. There's countless things that we'll be learning and stimulate us to learn every single day. We can't help but experience, and when we're experiencing, we're learning. It's only about the lessons that we choose to focus on. So be aware of it and choose to focus on the good. Like I said in previous episodes, if you wake up and step on a plug, you can wake up and say it's going to be a terrible day, or you can say, right, that's the bad thing out of the day, and focus on the positive. The same thing happened, but depending on what you focus on, depends on the day, how the day will play out to you. Again, every person's reality is individual. However you're feeling right now has it doesn't resonate with me. I have no idea how you feel. I have no idea of the ups and downs in your life, like you have no idea of the ups and downs in mine. And even if we were sitting in the same room together, you wouldn't be able to convey to me how you feel internally, and I wouldn't be able to convey to you how I feel internally. It's your perspective, it's your experience. And it's always going to change. So change with it and be aware of that change. Because again, the more you can be aware of the things that are changing and everything else, it's easier for you to move with it because you're not trying to hold on to things too tough. Again, some things are worth holding on to, but that's when your own intelligence comes into it. Not every idea is going to be your best idea. Not every experience is going to be a good experience. But it's about what you take from each of these. The more you focus on it and the more you practice it, the easier they will become. Like, self-reflection is an ongoing practice. And I think all of this podcast kind of builds out an idea of self-reflection. I suppose I want it to build out to an idea of self-reflection and then external reflection, because again, it's that kaleidoscope idea that although we're all having similar experiences, there'll be overlaps and things that we can learn from each other and everything else. But again, it is always going to be an individual experience. And everybody has to walk their individual path. The more aware you are of it, the easier it's going to be. Again, there's there's not to say there won't be ups and downs. I still have my ups and downs. They're always going to be there. No matter how conscious you are of your actions, of your behaviors, of life, there's still going to be things that wind you up. There's still going to be things that get you upset. We're only human at the end of the day. But the more we work on these things, the more focus and attention we give them, the more they improve over time. And again, it is a slow process. You constantly got to keep yourself in check and build up these tools. Again, it is just life tools, really. Like just having the awareness and the understanding, the perspective, they're all just different tools in the toolbox of life. To say that, cool, I can step outside of myself and I can be empathetic and see it from somebody else's viewpoint. I can, whatever it is, you're able to see the bigger picture in life, but also see the small picture, because you're the small picture, but you're part of the bigger picture. And it's always going to be like that, and it's an ever-changing picture. And yes, it sounds a little bit confusing, but that's life. We're all buzzing around, living our lives. There's 7 billion of us, and we're all changing. There's more lives coming into the planet, and there's more lives going out of the planet every second. It's all changing constantly. But we're here for now, so try to make the best of it. Make the best of it for you and everybody around you. If we all did that, would the world not be a better place as a whole? But I don't want to go in circles in just saying like, focus on the good and not the bad, because the bad's going to happen. But that is the biggest takeaway. Again, you can sum up a lot of things very quickly. And there is a lot that you could delve into things and overcomplicate it and this, that and everything else. But really and truly, it doesn't have to be that complicated. Start simple, start small. When you start making the little actions to be aware of yourself, be aware of your time, be aware of the people around you, be aware that every day you're learning something new. And then those lessons shape your next day and the day after that. So then when you look at the people that you're around, look at what they're teaching you. Or if you're around nobody, look around what that's teaching yourself. There's always going to be things that you're learning. So choose what it is and what environments that you're putting yourself into. Because that's what's going to stimulate those lessons. The better the environment, the better the lessons. Again, bad lessons will come. That's fine. But the more conscious you are of it, the more you can be aware and deal with it. Again, it's that constant ebb and flow. I don't think anybody's got an easy life, but you can learn to manage your life better. We all can. Anyway, the seed for this episode is going to be try to simplify an area of your life. Maybe food. There's something that I'm working on at the minute, is kind of simplifying what I eat and just trying to bring it down to basics again. Like there's so many things, so many ingredients in everything that we eat, and I don't know how prepared the body really is for it. Like we've been eating simply for a long, long time. Now to be eating things that are mixed with 20 different ingredients, this, that and everything else, I don't know what it's doing to the body or how the body really likes it. But I think when you eat fresh, simple foods, it's easy for the body to deal with, and you feel it pay on in your body. You feel it in your digestion, you feel it in your energy levels. You feel it in yourself. Again, like everything comes down to the quality. So if you start putting better quality food in your body, the quality of you improves. If you start putting yourself in better quality environments, the quality of you improves. So it's just another area that we can all work on, I think. especially in these hectic times where everything is rush, 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 go, 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 and everything's so quick and easy when it comes to deliveries and everything else, that we forget that we can eat simple foods too. We can make a simple meal with a couple of ingredients that don't even have to be cooked, or whatever it is. There's simpler forms of doing the things that we seem to overcomplicate. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this episode up there. All the best, and I'll catch you on the next one.